In the lower sectors of Neo-Lagos, the rain didn't fall from the sky. It dripped from the rusted underbelly of the upper city, oily and smelling of burnt circuits. Kalen adjusted his haptic gloves, the blue light of his visor flickering with low battery warnings. He was a scrapper, someone who lived on the edge of the binary and the bone. In this city, mercy was a luxury that consumed too much power. If your neural link glitched, you were discarded. If your biomechanical heart stuttered, you were recycled for parts. Kalen was currently tracking a high-value signature, a prototype processor rumored to be embedded in the chest of a glitcher, a homeless veteran of the corporate wars. He found him slumped in a drench of neon light behind a noodle stall. The man's prosthetic arm was sparking, a jagged rhythm of orange and white. His eyes were milky, his system stuck in a feedback loop of old memories. Kalen drew his thermal blade, one clean cut through the chassis, and he'd have enough credits to move to the mid-levels. He'd never have to breathe the oil rain again. The man looked up, his voice a distorted mechanical rasp. "Brother, please, it hurts." Kalen froze. The word brother shouldn't have hit so hard. It triggered a dormant file in his own mind, a scrap of an old scripture his grandmother had whispered before the Great Blackout. "Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." In Neo-Lagos, that verse was a virus. It didn't compute with the logic of survival. "I'm just here for the tech, old man," Kalen hissed, but his blade tip wavered. He looked at the man's sparking arm. It wasn't just a machine failing, it was a soul trapped in a cage of dying metal. Kalen looked at his own power cell, the one he needed to keep his own optics functioning through the night. He reached into his kit, but instead of the blade, he pulled out a universal bypass cable. "What are you doing?" the old man wheezed. "That power, so you need it for the climb." "I'm resetting your core," Kalen muttered, kneeling in the grime. He plugged the cable into the man's chest port and initiated a transfer. The blue light on Kalen's wrist turned a warning amber, then a desperate red. He felt the cold of the shadows begin to seep into his bones as his own heaters shut down to prioritize the stranger's life support. The sparking stopped. The man's eyes cleared, the milky haze receding as his processors stabilized. For the first time in years, the veteran breathed without the sound of grinding gears. Kalen sat back, his visor now dark, the world becoming a blur of true, unaugmented shadows. He was weak, vulnerable, and completely broke. "Why?" the man asked, moving his arm with a fluid, silent grace he hadn't known in decades. "You could have been halfway to the upper city by now." Kalen looked up at the glowing spires above, where the rich lived in eternal light, oblivious to the dark below. He realized he didn't want to be up there if it meant leaving his humanity in the gutter. "The upper city is just more metal," Kalen said, his voice quiet but steady. "I'd rather stay down here and be a man." He handed the veteran a small, hand-carved wooden cross, a relic from the old world. The man took it with a hand that no longer shook. In the heart of a city built on cold silicon, a small, warm light had finally been switched on, and for the first time in his life, Kalen didn't feel like a scrapper. He felt like a son.